At the beginning of the movie, a boy named Light is shown. Light was at his school. All of a sudden the weather starts to change and the winds begin to blow. And a notebook falls from the sky to the ground. Light picks up the notebook and he keeps it. Here we came to know that this is not an ordinary notebook. Rather, it is a mysterious ancient notebook. Then it starts to rain there. After entering school, Light sees a devil schoolboy harassing another boy. And Light stops him to do so. The boy punches Light in return. Light falls to the ground with his bag. A passing teacher sees other students' home assignments in Light's bag. Here Light's secret is revealed, that he does other students' home assignments. She sends Light to the principal for this reason. Light is kept in an isolated room as punishment. Sitting alone, he remembers that old notebook. Then, he starts reading this book. This was not an ordinary notebook, but it was full of statements of rules. There were also rules and regulations for keeping this notebook. This notebook is centuries old. Light was feeling weird while reading this book. Mysterious things began to happen when he was reviewing this notebook. Light sees a strange thing there. It was not a human being, but another creature. He had an abominable and evil form, and the surface of his body was pointed. Light is shocked to see him. Later, it is understood that he is not a creature, but a death spirit. And this death spirit owns this notebook. Death spirit tells Light the truth about this notebook and what it can do. There are some special notes in this book called Death Notes. And the keeper of this book is the owner of this notebook. That means Light was the owner of this notebook at the time. The important fact of this notebook is that, if any person's name is written on his death notes, he will die soon. Notebook owners can kill anyone they like. Light can write any method of killing in the notebook. After selecting the person to be killed, the victim will then die according to the death note. But the owner has to follow some rules to do so. Light does not trust Death Spirit yet. Death Spirit tells Light that the Death Spirit is only visible to the person who currently owns the notebook. Death Spirit tells Light you have to write at least one name in the notebook within 7 days. Otherwise, the notebook will become the property of another person if he does not write anyone's name. The condition for writing someone's name in the notebook is that the owner should have the person's face and real name in his mind, and in it can be written the only method of death that actually exists. Death Spirit says to Light, you must write a death note for someone's death. Then, Light looks at that bad boy from the room window. He was teasing a boy even then, and he was teasing Light too. Agreeing with Death Spirit, Light writes the boy's name in the notebook. He writes the way of death for that boy, as if his head is crushed. Then the view changes immediately. 2 cars collided, one of which had an iron ladder. It really crushes the boy's head. Light is shocked to see this. Now Light is convinced that the facts stated in Death Spirit are based on truth. So Light gets very scared. Death Spirit tells Light that you can do a lot with this book. If you do not want to take this notebook, I will give the ownership of this notebook to someone else. After that, Light returns to his house. Light's father is shown in the house, who is a spy. Then it is shown that a few years ago, Light's mother was killed by a criminal. But the culprit was roaming free as there was no evidence of guilt. That is why there was no good friendship between father and son. Light gets angry with his father and says, you are not taking revenge on my mother. Light was troubled by this fact. Then Light comes up with the idea that he can write the name of the culprit in this death note. And that's what he does. He writes the name of the culprit in the death note. Then the same culprit is shown, who was having a party with his friends. Suddenly he dies in front of everyone. The father and son were satisfied to hear the news of the death of this criminal. Here Light avenged his mother's death, and the father-son relationship was restored. Then Light thinks how to use the magic of this notebook for a good cause. Light was sitting at school and thinking. Then a girl named Mia comes up to him. Mia is Light's best friend, so Light reveals his secret. That I have found a mysterious notebook. Anyone whose name is written in it dies. But Mia doesn't believe it. Light demonstrates Mia to prove it. Where a killer arrives on the scene. Light writes about the killer in Death Note. Like he would die when a car collided with him. This is because Light knew the real name and face of the killer in its mind, and that's what happens. Mia is shocked to see him. They planned that we have great power, we will wipe out the bad guys from this world. Bad people include criminals, murderers and such intimidators. To do this, faces and real names of such people can be found easily on the internet. So they put the names of the bad guys on the list. And bad people are slowly coming to terms with their fate. It also shows that the owner of the notebook can control the mind of the person whose name is written in the book. Light had chosen a name for himself, which was Kira. Whenever someone died, he wrote his name Kira next to the body as his sign, so that the bad people will be afraid of him and stop doing wrong. He wanted everyone to know that Kira has arrived to eliminate criminals and bad people. Soon this news went viral around the world that a serial killer called Kira had arrived that is killing everyone. And some people were supporting Kira because they thought that in this way the worst people will be uprooted from the world. But in the eyes of the police, he was a killer, so the police wanted to find him. There was no evidence against Light, so it was not easy to find him. Then, an intelligence investigator is hired to deal with this case. The investigator's name was El, who was very clever. He wore a veil over his face, and no one knew his real name. Light and Mia were very content in their lives. They had killed more than 400 people. El speaks in a press conference that, Kira, show yourself to everyone. Being intelligent, El was investigating the roots of this case. El also accompanies Light's father because he was a spy. He was doing this all because he had to get to Kira as soon as possible. Now Light and Mia get upset because they didn't think there would be a conspiracy to arrest them. They still believed that would not happen. But El's arrival makes them disturbed. Light asks his father, if Kira gets caught, what will be his punishment? According to Light's father, half of the population will demand that Kira be sentenced to death. Half of the population will insist on finding out how he did it. Knowing this makes Light's anxiety worse. He also tells this to Mia and says now we should stop this all. Because many people including Light were under the suspiciousness of El. Because he has easy access to his father's data. So El puts an agent on Light's tracking. In this way he can keep an eye on Light's activities. But Light keeps calm, even after knowing this. Mia is upset to see Light is losing his interest in the book. Because Mia feels pleasure to kill people. El became an obstacle in the way of Light and Mia. Light can't kill El, even if he wants to kill him. Because they had not seen his face, and also they don't know his real name. This was also the rule of Notebook. Light and Mia talk about to write the names of all the agents in the book who are looking for Kira, so other agents may be terrorized by Kira. And they have to close this case reluctantly. It was the suggestion of Mia, while Light was not willing to do any such thing. Because he was not willing to take the life of innocent people. So Mia has to agree with Light. Contrarily, El also comes to know that Kira has victimized those people who have been shown on TV. And Kira cannot victimize those whose face and name are unrevealed before him. To avoid the suspicion, Light decides that he will not kill people for some days. Suddenly, an incident occurs as all agents commit suicide, jumping off the building. Who were the agents of this case in searching for Kira? These names had not been written by Light. Then who had written their names? Here the situation is worsened. Because Kira was just killing the evilest people till now. People were tagging him hero. But he had killed police now. So he turned into a threat who can take the life of anyone. Light is troubled because of this incident. He asks Death Spirit, have you committed it? Then Death Spirit tells, these names have been written by anyone else. Because I cannot do it. Light's father challenges Kira in his seminar that, stop killing the innocent people. Kill me if you have courage. Come in front of everyone. This news was being watched by Mia and Light. Mia says to him in aggression, "Write down the name of your father in that notebook." He says to Mia, "How can I kill my father? Are you gone mad?" El was more wisely tackling this case. He inspects either Kira will kill Light's father or not. But it does not happen. Light's father remains alive, so El's suspicion on Light is turned into belief. Because he is also a detective tackling this case. But he did not become the victim of Kira. So Kira is not anyone else but Light. So El confronts Light at night. He attempts to explore from him that, "You are Kira." El also interrogates Light, revealing his face. He says, "Stop doing it now." Light leaves, overlooking him. Now the sword of Damocles hangs over his head. He could not kill El in spite of his wish. Mia says to Light, "I had a great affection for you. We should do something to avoid this trouble." Light thinks a lot to keep El out of his way. He says, "I have seen the face of El. And El's real name will surely be known by his friend." Light writes down the name of El's friend in that notebook. And he gets the control of him. Now the notebook's one more rule is revealed here. That person will be secured, getting no harm, if the owner burns the person's name page. But Death Spirit exposes Light, it will be done only for once. Now El's friend was under the control of Light. But he was also unaware about the real name of El. Light orders him, know about the real name of El at any rate. El's friend tells El used to visit an academy. It is possible that his documents may have his real name. So Light immediately asks him to visit academy. El's friend carries out the order and moves to academy. Light had planned that knowing the real name of El, he will burn that page where El's friend name has been and he will be secured. And everything will come on its routine. But El is suspected that his friend is missing. He also understands the whole story, that Light had also taken hold of him to know my real name. El is distressed on it. And he comes to Light's house without informing. He tells Light's father, "Your son is real Kira. It is he who has disappeared my friend." But Light was not in the state of being suspected. Because there was no evidence against him. El finds nothing in their house while discovering it nor that ancient notebook. Because Mia had taken it away with her. Then Light receives the call of El's friend who says, "I have reached academy." And he had left a little time. El's friend is nearly to reveal the name. Then Light checks, there is not the page of name, but has disappeared when he is going to burn it. So El's friend is dead before telling the name. Light is dejected on it. Then Mia reveals the secret in a dance party that, "I have torn the name page of El's friend. Moreover, I had also written the name of agents in that notebook." She tells, "I have also written your name in that notebook now. And the way of Light's death is this, his heartbeat will stop working at midnight, leaving him dead." She says, "I will burn the page of your name if you hand over this notebook to me." It means Mia flirts him in order to gain that book. Knowing about the death of his friend, El struggles hard to arrest Light. At last, El catches Light. But El says to a cook standing there, "He is Kira. Help me to capture him." But that cook knocks El out. Because he was the defender of Kira. El also takes Mia with him while running. Then they come in the swing and caught upward. Meantime, police also reach there. Light says to Mia, "You will not touch this notebook. If you love me, we will mutually bring things on their correct form." Being greedy, Mia disagrees with him. She grabs that notebook from Light. Light says to Mia, seeing it, "You have wronged it at all." Hearing it, Mia gets understanding. Light will have written my name in this notebook. Their names were on the pages of notebook, so both immediately fall down. Mia is dead at the spot, but Light falls into the water. Then Light is shown in the hospital who had gone into coma. Meanwhile, more criminals are also dead. People notice that El had a suspicion on Light who has gone into coma. And people are still dying. Then we observed that a page is separated from the notebook when Mia and El were falling down from the swing. And it is burnt. And that page had a written name Light. Light had acted wisely. As when he knew that Mia had written his name in the notebook. Then he wrote in the book, Mia will be dead if she brings back that notebook from him. And the page which has written name of Light will be burnt. And Light will fall into the water. He had also written the names of the evilest persons in the book. A corrupt doctor makes Light deeply unconscious, bringing him out of the water. Later, the same doctor commits suicide. Then another man takes that notebook. He writes many evil people in that notebook. Afterwards, that man brings that notebook to Light, who had come out of the coma. After this, L is terminated, but E discovers Mia's house for the last time. And he gets the name of dead police officers. So all allegations are put on Mia. Light had also recovered completely and also gained that notebook. But he had learned a lesson that he will not trust anyone from now on. And the movie also completes on this scene.